Hey everyone, welcome back to the horror show. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Ian Fuego here.
Here to continue our review series for Nightmare on Elm Street with the 7th installment, Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which holds a special place in my heart. But we're going to get into this review like we've done all the rest, which is talking about the overall thoughts, the story, the acting, the effects, the music, all of that good stuff in turn. And so... I'm going to go first on this one, Fuego.
As I think you should.
I love this movie. Wes Craven's New Nightmare is my second favorite in the franchise. I'm a huge fan of it because, A, it was Wes Craven sort of tinkering with the meta aspect before going full Scream. Yep. And I really appreciated how he did that. It was the first time I'd ever seen it. When I watched this when I was 14, I was 13. No, I was 14 when it came out. So I was 14 when it came out, just turned 14, and it kind of blew my mind that it took place in our world, and it was, you know, Freddy trying to cross into our world, which I'll get into in the story. So I love this film. I think it's fantastic for its meta-ness. It's fantastic for its story. It's got a really scary Freddy, a pretty cool, unique glove. So I love Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
I will second that notion. I adore this film as well. It's easily in the top 3 for the franchise. I like that they got back to Freddy being genuinely scary and unsettling. And I didn't really completely get it either, much like you said, much like Vince DeSantis said at one time when we were all discussing this film at a recent convention with him. Shout out to Womp Stomp. But yeah, it's got amazing set design. It's got cool callback kills. It's got... actors playing themselves, which is the part that I didn't necessarily understand as much when I initially saw it, but boy, this film has aged very well, in my estimation, with the exception of a few little facts that it's apparently in the decades, maybe a tire here and there, but the practical's good. It's a seminal entry in this series for sure.
So diving into the story, this one is all about the real world. It's about Heather Langenkamp, who is the actress that played Nancy Thompson in the first and third entry into the franchise. So she comes back to play herself, but she has a fictitious son by the name of Dylan, and she's married to a man named Chase, who works on a special effects company, which actually is interesting because she's now married to a man who she owns a special effects company with. So it's weird how the loop kind of closed for her on that. But at the time, this is what's going on. And the idea is that Freddy, who was he was an evil entity, basically masquerading as Freddy Krueger. He was captured as the essence of Freddy Krueger, which is explained by Wes Craven himself in this film. And so now that entity is trying to break into our world through Dylan. And Nancy is the gatekeeper through which Freddy has to go to come into our world. So that is the long and short of the story. And I gotta say, I just think it's such a unique angle for a Freddy movie that I absolutely loved it. That's part of why it sits in my second favorite spot. I think Dream Warriors is first, then I go New Nightmare, then I go number 1. Yeah. It's weird. I have number 1 as my number 3, but I can't help it. I love Dream Warriors and New Nightmare so much, I will always rewatch them before I rewatch the first one, so that's how I have to rank them. But I love this. I love the story. I think it's wholly unique. It offers an insight into the behind the scenes of the Freddy world, which is my favorite franchise. My favorite horror franchise is Freddy. So, seeing into that and seeing Nancy, kind of with the PA who, by the way, this movie we did a special commentary of with Vince DeSantis, Renee Rivas, Fuego, myself, and Miko Hughes. And producer Dave, we all did a commentary for this film, and Miko dropped a bunch of really cool things, but it was funny seeing Vince, watch this and be like, oh my god, that PA, that's exactly what it's like on set, and same with Miko, they're like, yeah, that's what it's like on set.
Like so scampering, running around.
He's like, no, this way, like all that kind of stuff, like, yeah, with the headset. I love that. I loved seeing it. So this movie was handmade for someone that wants to make movies and loves Freddy. What's better than this?
Yeah,
story-wise for you?
Story-wise, I love seeing Heather in a more matured role as a mother.
100%.
Her acting is so much... her acting was even better in 3, I think, because she was a little bit older, a little bit more seasoned, matured, and everything. But as a mother, the nurturing aspect, the caring chemistry with Miko, it's so good and so genuine, and it makes the movie in a lot of ways, and it adds additional terror to the fact that this evil entity that decided it liked the form of Freddy, is the one who is going after her and trying to make things just, nasty in the real world. I mean, those are the dynamics I find especially fascinating, on top of the meta-ness and the fact that this was Wes kind of sharpening his teeth a little bit before going even more so into Scream. But there's a certain charm with him tackling it with this franchise because he started this franchise, he created it, and he co-wrote Dream Warriors as well. So I mean, I don't know, this was things, once again, we like about the Wheel of Khan coming full circle and all that silliness. I always try to make a reference when I can, but this is a perfect example of it being the case. So.
Well, Wes Craven is one of the bearded duo that I love in directorship. Wes and James Cameron are two, well, the bearded trio if you want to include Spielberg too, which you could.
No Rob Reiner.
No Rob Reiner. No, not the same thing.
I'm kidding.
No, but Cameron, innovated in the action sci-fi genre, and Craven innovated in the horror genre. Yeah. And so and this was one of the big innovations, and I absolutely loved it.
Well, one other thing I forgot to mention, because it was just a topic when I was discussing Stephen King's The Dark Half recently, is just willing evil into existence with an idea, and they explore that here. Wes discusses it a little bit in the script writing aspect, including this new entry he was working on during the movie that he talks about with Nancy when she comes to visit him. And that's just the power of an idea. If it's that just sinister and horrible, it's kind of a cool theme in writing to me. So yeah,
I agree.
One that I dig.
Now, as far as the acting goes, I think the acting's great in this. Yeah. I'm hard-pressed to think of anyone that's substandard. I think Heather's fantastic. I think Dylan, Miko, does a fantastic job.
Even if he was hard on himself a little bit.
He's very hard on himself, but I think he did an excellent job.
I still do too, man.
Chase was great. Wes was great. Robert was great. Bob and Lynn and Sarah Risher were great. Bob Shea and Sarah Risher. I think everyone was really top notch in this. The limo driver, maybe a little bit left to be desired, but
did we already mention the babysitter, since I don't know her name?
Julie.
Yeah,
Julie.
I think she's great.
She's fantastic.
She's the stand-in for kind of the blonde whose name I cannot recall, who gets killed in the first film. Who there's the callback.
Tina.
Tina. Yeah. Do they have a callback thing with her that I don't want to quite go into and spoil, perhaps, but it's cool, and it's. I mean, she sells it with her kind of being badass and standoffish too, and not letting the medical people push her around.
I know it's in that one.
Yeah.
You have any idea what's in this one?
Yeah.
What's gonna happen when I stick you with it?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, she's really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, the acting's on point in this movie. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, really no weak links in the majority of the cast.
Right.
I mean, maybe somebody with a scene or two, but that doesn't matter really. I mean, you have to have a little bit of ham, somewhere in these horror films. So yeah, especially in Freddy stuff.
So let's talk about the effects, since you mentioned the kill. I think the effects are okay. I think all of the gore effects are great.
Dude, that first kill scene on the set, that this is a much more serious, sinister, crazy, gory return to form.
When Freddy hacks off his hand. And that's a showcase. Not only that, but I love that they showcased the effects of the films, because they were like, more blood, more on the effects, Terry. That way to go. That's Wes speaking off to the side, and then they're talking to the effects guys, and
you don't know quite what it is at first.
Right, and the metal glove is it's warm like a real hand, and it's really they really spotlight the effects. There's a couple of well done digital effects that still hold up. I think the claw moving on its own in certain scenes still works.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I think the Freddy form, running across the freeway looked good.
That bad.
It doesn't look that bad, but Freddy in the sky doesn't look good, and all of the Freddy masks on the side of the road when everyone walks up look a little cheesy. But that's only because we're watching it in high definition Blu-ray now, whereas in '94,
And that's the one thing that I can say about 4K and all of this stuff that we're in now. Sometimes the blemishes that used to be hidden with the graininess are very visible now and very apparent and evident. So,
right. But yeah, overall, I love the gore in this movie. Yeah. I think the effects, and not only that, but let's talk about set design.
Yeah, God, especially in the iconic confrontation at the end.
Well, and that's what's cool. The beginning scene where they're filming everything is the set from the end.
Yeah.
So it's just everything is taken out at the end, and you see how scary that hell set really is.
Since that is a dream, and that's her
It's the dream, but it's Freddy's sort of hellscape. I think that's what it's called in the script, is the hellscape.
Yeah, so it's not a boiler room. We're somewhere totally different. Yeah.
Exactly. So I thought the set design and the set dressing, so the art direction was fantastic in this movie too.
Agreed, 100%.
So I don't know, there's so much to really like about this movie, and the score. The score, absolutely. It is updated. It's a little bit more industrial at times, and it's a little bit more creepy at times.
We also get the little goofy vibe where he's on the TV show.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
It's great.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun. Yeah, they do that. Like, it's really funny how they do that version of it.
That's
And
our fun little interlude. It's on the score of the film if you get the chance, if you haven't seen it.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Just
it's
YouTube it. It's wonderful. It's a great score.
We've listened to it a lot.
Yes, we have. I listened to it exclusively when I was writing Dylan's New Nightmare. So that's actually a good segue. Anything else to say about the film? Wes Craven?
It's as close to a perfect film as Wes Craven has ever done, especially if you're into this particular franchise, man. I mean, it is on point, and the fact that he's even on screen a few times, and his acting is solid. It's not like he doesn't seem like a hammy, like wooden director who doesn't know what he's talking about and is just trying to act. It's all natural. His scene with Nancy is terrific, and also it's, man, I don't know. I love this film. You've given me additional appreciation for it by the revisiting of it. So.
Well, and that segues into why we revisited it, which is, of
Truly.
course, the fact that we are currently making a project. Well, we're raising funds to make the fan film unofficial sequel to Wes Craven's New Nightmare called Dylan's New Nightmare. You see the poster right there. It's been sitting there the whole time. So we are doing an unofficial short film, not-for-profit sequel to Wes Craven's New Nightmare that is going to be starring Miko Hughes himself returning to play Dylan Porter 25 years later.
Shout out Miko!
With Freddy, or the entity that has taken on the form of Freddy, once again trying to cross into our world through Dylan. So that Indiegogo campaign is going right now. The link is in the description box. We'd appreciate any help as far as fundraising. If you can't contribute anything, then by all means, please share it, because the more eyeballs, the better. Thank you guys very much. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button and subscribe. We still have reviews of Freddy vs. Jason and the Nightmare on Elm Street remake to get done, as well as a bunch more Freddy comic reviews coming at you. Plus, we will eventually need to do Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, the comic book series as well. So
there's two of them too. There's also
I have both of them.
Excuse me, Nightmare Warriors that came even after that one.
I have both. Don't you
we're
worry.
in front of the White House.
We're gonna do it all.
I have them both too.
I know. I'm excited. You have the trade though, right?
I spent way too much on that Nightmare Warriors trade, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They're hard to get, but I got the actual issues, so
Nice.
I'll let you read your trades. All right, guys. Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button, subscribe to make sure you don't miss more, which I think I already said.
Yeah.
Until next time, though, I'm Cecil Laird.
And gracias up and Jaime and Fuego.
And remember, stay scared.